This is ContactTalkRadio.com. Consciousness in action. And you are taking action into your consciousness by tuning into Contact Talk Radio.
And on TuneIn.com, Ping.fm, and Upsnap Mobile.
Contact Talk Radio.
Welcome to Transformations with Tara Sutphin. Tara Sutphin is the author of Blame It on Your Past Lives, Soul Agreements, and The Abenda Chronicles. Grammy-nominated audios, videos, and MP3 series. You can find these MP3 series now at TaraInsight.com.
Welcome to Transformations with Tara. This is Tara Sutphin. And my guest and co-host today is Jason D. McKean. He is the voice of over 1 million recordings of Om throughout the world. And he is the Om Tarot Wizard. So he's a reverend, and he's also very knowledgeable in helping people through his therapy. And he has a line of MP3s that are helpful, as well as all the music. So welcome to the show, Jason.
Good morning, Tara. How are you?
Good. How are you today?
Doing great. Thank you for that lovely intro. And it's like being a reverend mostly means getting people hitched, but there hasn't been a lot of that. A lot of people like big weddings. It's like a big community to do, and it's like in the last year it's been like not a lot of people have had the big events. So it's like I look forward to that again, because it's such a beautiful experience.
Yeah, well, I think that's kind of our show today, is start, in our minds, we've wanted things to become normal. We need to speak normal things again. And then, you move it into action. So I had written that we were discussing today, speaking clearly, and do you convey your message? Do people really know you? Does your speaking style help or hinder you? Do you hide yourself? Do you look for validation? Does your emotions match your voice style? Or does your intellect match your voice style? Sometimes, we don't know these things. We don't really observe them and dissect them. So that's what we're going to talk about today.
When you say voice style, do you have something in mind with that, as far as like your intellect matching a voice style? What do you mean by voice style?
Voice style is I think it's what you think you're conveying out to the world. What do you think that you're doing? Are you doing it emotionally? There's a lot of people who connect emotionally, and people see anger instead of a big heart. They can see frustration instead of somebody wanting to do good for the world or for their fellow man or for their families, because there's a fine line between how you speak and how you are seen in the world. And so the thing is, we had a lot of that. We've had a lot of that in the last few years. So how exactly are you seen by the way that you speak? Because it's the only way that we can kind of convey ourselves, link ourselves to someone else. And so when we are thinking mean thoughts, or we're thinking, and then we honeycoat it on the outside, not being our true selves when we speak, or if we're being frustrated inside, and mad, and our emotions are, people's emotions going up, and then your how you speak to other people, or how you speak about things, is a lot of what happens, because our reality is very much a creation within our own life. The illusion and reality is the fine line. And I've been writing about it. I've been, have an agent for my book. And so I've been writing a lot. And so I've been writing about these things a lot as well. And so, what is the difference between illusion and reality? Well, you have to create your life. And we do it through our emotional balance and our intellectual balance and our physical going toward what we believe in and what we can do to help each other instead of hinder each other. So it's a pretty fine line.
What you're saying about writing too, that too is your voice, when
Yeah.
you're writing something, and it takes away from the vibration of your speaking voice, but it's still, you can read writers where they have a clear voice. It's like you can spot them a mile away when you start reading their prose. And and then if someone is on an intellectual basis, if they're looking to convey ideas, if they're looking to help someone understand something in that mental way, in the intellectual way, then it's like written in a certain way. If it's looking to connect with the heart center, then that too is in a certain way. And sometimes it's about someone deciding how, like, which voice to activate, within their own, if they're needing something, if they're asking for something in the world, or if they're trying to tell someone something in the world, how it is that they activate that specific voice in order to get results.
Right. How that's right. How do you get the results that you want?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's part of success. That's a part of really feeling satisfied and fulfilled in your life, is when you express yourself in a loving way, or a kind of fulfilling way, a wholesome way, and then it comes back to you. I mean, it does. Sometimes it doesn't right away, but you keep practicing and practicing, and of course it does. It does come back to you.
Yeah. In the tarot, it's like the pages. There's layers of the pages. The royalty cards, part of them, and they represent the message, the messages, the messenger. When something is needing to be said, sometimes, and if it's the page of cups, then it needs to come from the heart center. If it's the page of swords, something from the mind, and it can, there can be value in when these cards come up for someone to see where maybe they are holding themselves back in a certain way. They may not be connecting with their own emotional side or so when they speak. So,
or intellectual side,
or their intellectual side. It's like, but to be understood fully by someone else. And sometimes it depends on who you're relating to. If it's people have different comfort levels in all their relationships. You don't just tell everyone like the same things. It's like there's layers of intimacy that we all, like, have certain layers where it's like, oh, for this person I can only go here, but for this person I trust them with this information. It's like you can talk about different things. It's like a frequency, a bandwidth that you dial into, and you're conveying information on that bandwidth. And I guess tuning into yourself first, because you're the first cause. You're the the person who is looking to engage in the world and have relationships. And also, it's like making sure that your own transmitter is clear, so that you are able to speak your truth. You're able to open up as much as possible, within yourself, so that whoever it is that you're meeting out in the world, that you're able to connect with them and be clear.
Right. Like I give in my hypnotherapy sessions, usually I always remember to give the suggestion that you are a clear thinking human, there is confusion. So, because that's it. Where are you confused? Where do you think that you're confused? You don't have to be there. It just doesn't have to be. The way that people treat you isn't the way that you need to treat them. You have to be in balance. And so, other people's confusion, other people's upsets are not yours, and they are not to be carried by you. You are to be in your own life and doing the best that you can. And so the best that you can is being a clear thinking person and a clear speaking person and a clear heart. Where are you not a clear heart at that point as well? You and that's being vulnerable. And we had this big discussion yesterday. We went to go see Raya and the Last Dragon, the Disney movie with Everest yesterday. And it's all about trust. And Hunter said, "Oh, there was my mom." She always, because we went with a little group, but that's my mom. She's already there, but the rest of us have to work at it. And I just laughed, and I do expect the best. But I don't always, but I explain that, it's not that the best is out there in the world. I mean, it's a process that, you have to just keep walking in and walking in and walking in. Of course, you have to live your truth. Every time a test comes along, you have to live the truth of it. And so it's very hard to just live the truth when you see other people destroying other people, or they say weird things, or they're being weird just because, they think they can because it's the earth plane, and with writing, I've really gotten a lot of different information as far as what is the difference between heaven and earth, and why we have to experience these things, and what are the lessons sometimes. And so it's been truly interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Did you like the movie?
The movie's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. A little bit old for, a little older. I mean, the adults loved it.
Right.
But, Everest was like, I don't know if she understood all of it. Yeah. So, but it's beautiful. It is beautiful.
All right. So it's animated, right? Like,
it's animated. It's beautiful. I mean, it's truly beautiful. You as a dragon year, you're born the dragon year. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All the dragon years will love the movie.
If they're good dragons, if there's
they're magical, they're just incredible. They're beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all the philosophy really of the East. Yeah. It's really beautiful as far as just the teachings. It has nice messages in it, no doubt.
Good. Going back to like there was saying about the tarot, the suit of the swords, and it's funny because whenever anyone picks like one of the swords cards, it's they it's a tricky suit. It's like it can have a lot more dicier images and all, depending on the deck, of course, but because the swords have to do with communication as part of the energy of that suit, and the mind and how one crafts their intellect and how one speaks. It can show where, and I'm thinking of like cards like the Five of Swords, which I think is a card of like finding your power in the moment. Mm-hmm. And you when you're looking to say something, to stand up for yourself, to be clear with who it is that you are, to find your own center and to be able to express that, it has to be done in the moment to feel that sense of power. Because if you don't, right, if you miss that opportunity, then you spend a lot of time just kicking yourself afterwards. It's like, oh, I should have said this, and And it's not always that it's about, just being a brute about it, but it is about, um, you know, either standing up for, what it is that you believe at your core, and um, and navigating that very fragile energy of how it is that you stand up in the moment. And I think that's why it's such a, a precarious suit. It's it's like one that reminds you, to kind of be on that razor's edge a bit, and to recognize that the present is where one creates opportunity for themselves, to move forward. It's you create the next leg of the journey by standing up in the moment and seizing an opportunity, or one retreats and is just kicking themselves, or just that too is communication, right? When we tell ourselves, it's like, why didn't you say that? Why did you not do that? That too it's a way of signaling ourselves, to like, be more present. It's we can see it as a way of, if we do it in a helpful manner, where we don't just get into cycles of, where that's the thing, where that's the pattern, where we're always like, have the negative self-talk, but as a reminder to ourselves to stand up next time, and to have some clarity in that moment, and to not be so afraid of just stating something in a way that you're expressing your true self. And fear is something that relationships, how it is that we learn to express ourselves. Fear is something that is, it can really hold us back in relationships. And it's like the more that we're able to express our true self, then, we're finding out who we are. We're connecting deeper with our own purpose. We're, moving ourselves forward.
Right. And activating your voice, I do a lot of this with my coaching and my, hypnotherapy. And I know that you help a lot of people like to find themselves. Mm-hmm. So the thing is that when you're learning to activate your voice, it's saying the right thing at the right time. But, it can be taken too far. Like the frustration that you find in certain things, do you really want to change your life to be in a frustrated mode? You can take a step back from the computer. You can take a step back from the phone. You can take a step back from negative people. You can take a step back, just take a step back into your own life, because it's about you learning what you would like to do and what you want for your life. I mean, that's where it all comes down to, really. And so, it's your decisions and good decisions, because there's bad decisions. There's people who make bad decisions all the time. But what's the good decisions? Your good decisions, you want to speak them, and you want to be able to move into them through your body. Action. Action allows us on the manifest plane to allow us to get what we need and what we want. So, and those are steps. You can't just say it and have it. You just can't. It has to be step, 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 step. So if you want to learn something, if you want to have something, you have to step, 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 step into it. When I was, I was naturally psychic from, my near-death experiences at baby and at 8 years old. But, I was surrounded all of a sudden, when I got older, I didn't really want to be psychic, but I was surrounded by it. So it was my destiny. And so I had to step into it and step into it and step into it. And even if I didn't want to do it, I was doing it anyway, because of all the people that, I was supposed to meet were these kind of people. And so, I embraced it. after a while, because it's a great, fulfilling, satisfying work to help other people get into their next, groove. So the thing is, though, is how did I learn to speak? Because for a long time, it was like, I'm going to say things to people and they're going to remember it, and they're going to, it could be the wrong thing. But, I've learned over the years, it's easier for me to be psychic than it is to vacuum. So it's like, go for it. That's my analogy of it. Sometimes speaking, it's learning to speak, and there are things that come up for everybody that, like, where do you stand up for yourself? Where do you not look back? There's a lot of that. So whereas everybody has that, because you are on the earth plane, you have school, you have karma, you have to make the progress. So how do you make the progress? Is stepping forward into your better life, your better self, and your speaking self. And there's been a lot of opportunities over the last few years. There has been a lot of opportunities of negativity that people get into these negative, talking. And it's just like, why? You could be doing something else and it'd be much more fun. When did you really click into all that to be, can you make a difference? And how do you make a difference? It's not usually by complaining. Complaining doesn't really actually make a difference. You have to move your body into something to make a difference. And if that's I did Destiny of Peace a long time ago, and Whispers in the Wind. And Whispers in the Wind, the video that I made in the early 2000s was about that you will be called to do things in the world. And how do you answer that call? Because we all have callings in our life. And so that was, I thought that was, that we've been really doing it the last few years. It really speeded up in that area, but it's always been there because it was there then.
And, as far as you had said something about like where, one sets the stage within themselves to activate, a better life for themselves. It's like, like getting into that place of really discovering, what your calling is, right? That's part of setting your stage, and really like, letting that, inform you as far as, be your inner navigation. It's like setting this compass inside of yourself, and then once you set it, it's like, that's when you're confused, that compass is just like spinning around, and it's just like you're not knowing where to go, your own direction, and how to express yourself to get yourself closer to where it is that you're going. But when you're called, it's like, just setting that, being in that, and connecting your voice to it, connecting how it is that you express yourself, so that it brings opportunities, or and that can be where you're meeting others, where you're placing yourself in situations that you can start to make a difference, and start to activate your own purpose. So is there what's a good way to connect with your own sense of calling? Is it that quiet time that one spends to hear, or is it looking at your natural abilities? It's like you said that you're better at being psychic than vacuuming, right? It's like taking that off the list, right?
Right. Not that I don't vacuum, I do.
just not professional.
But it's just easier for me to, to be a psychic. So, or to be a therapist. So the thing for, where do you, well, first of all, I think it's the choice. It's stop being an indecision. It's a choice. So it's like I say, choose love or be chosen. It's the same thing with any sort of career, hobby, your speaking ability, as far as like just who do you want to surround yourself with, what you want to learn, make a choice on it. But when you make the choice, how do you step into it in the best possible way? If you're not going to use it as a career, you can't, you have to find other people who are on your same level, but it's not about the complaining. It's about really what's a solve. So what are the solves in life that are the most peaceful solves? What helps the world instead of hurting it? Because complaining only hurts. It's not about solving it. A solve is when you actually create some kind of peaceful movement.
So, I mean, you said to choose love, and is that like choosing that which you love to do, that which is just kind of
what you love to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, even if you feel you're not good at it, it's a step-by-step process. You have to go the steps. It might take you 20 years. I was really good at astrology. I studied Eastern and Western astrology. It took me years and years. I locked myself up for 3 months at a time and learn it by hand, everything, on the Eastern level, because you have to delve into what it is you want to learn. It didn't just, come to me, although I'm naturally like good at it, but it didn't, I had to still learn the steps. And hopefully I retain it in my next life so that I don't have to learn quite as hard. I don't know. But,
especially not by hand.
And it's the memory of it. You got to keep the memory of it, of like, oh, what's that mean and that mean? And, but it becomes formulas, and it becomes, you work it out. I work it out. And as like when I look at like a chart, I use the Western chart, and then the Eastern, I can read the Eastern through the Western. It becomes like a hologram for me. So that's, you learn your style. I don't know too many people who do my style. I haven't been able to have that many friends in it. Well, not really, because my friends who were in it are now very old.
Oh, looks like your satellite's frozen there. With the formulas that we create from what it is that we.
Oh.
Are you back, Tara?
Yeah, I'm back. I don't know who's freezing, but yep.
It could have been me.
Yeah, it's everybody. Yep.
It could have just been that spike. But you said something about like knowing like your style, knowing what it is that you love, and then being able to express that, being able to share that with others, and finding that frequency of enthusiasm, finding the frequency of where you're able to be concise with the information in it, and I find that it's an allowance, that one lets themselves, show their true self, and doesn't worry about, how others will, like the haters out there, who are just like, will pounce if you're like in a public arena or so. It's just like be true to your own center, and let your voice carry that center, and because it's a vibration, and that vibration, it has a way of creating an enthusiasm with others. It can be something that is shared, that it emanates from you, but it can inspire others to activate their own interests and really get on board with what they love to do, and to take it up a notch and to share that as well.
Right. Well, and that's just it. It's to be open-hearted at that point, at helping others learn, or helping others um, adjust, being a good example. There's a lot of things that speaking clearly and knowing how to do it, like because we're in kind of the spiritual realm, we speak from a more on kind of the consciousness level, like Contact Talk Radio, it's consciousness in action, it's a consciousness thing, but in every area of your life, it should be a good, you can learn to speak clearly. It's not about fighting with other people. And, I move away from that most of the time, because I think that, why do people even bother? I mean, that's like, they will never get ahead as far as the spiritual brownie points that they think they want to make by doing things like that. But, because you take the high road or you take the low road. It's that simple. It's that simple. Take the high road or the low road. Mm-hmm. So that's where you can start with your speaking ability, knowing that you make clear choices, because you're going to take the high road. You're not going to take the low road.
I see that
the low road's an easy road. People take the low road all the time.
I see that I see the high road as the road of the alchemist. Mm-hmm. Where one sees where there's this base energy, this raw energy, or it can be a anger or passion, or it can be just it can be just joy too, but it's raw, and the alchemist dips into that and raises the vibration of it, and creates something, a beautiful expression of that. Turns that lead into gold. And when you activate your voice, it's about choosing the best words, the clarity, the words that best define a moment, and looks to share that with others, so that it can be of inspiration, that it can help someone maybe see where in their own life there's that rawness that needs to be refined, and come up and start to work for someone, rather than being stuck in a quagmire of their own that dense or heavy energy, where they can start to lighten it, and bring about positive change for themselves.
Right. And that's just it, when you're giving helping hands and everything, is that, you want to see progress in the right direction and not the wrong direction, because there's always enabling as well, enabling bad behavior, and instead of good behavior. And, so, it's just taking the high road everywhere you go, wherever you think that you don't need to be drowning in anything, or being upset about really a whole lot. You should be having fun. Relationships are supposed to be fun. And so is life. Everything's supposed to be fun. Everything. And I know that I'm kind of Pollyanna-ish on it. People will say, "Oh, Terry, you're so positive." Well, but, I practice it. I practice it all my life to be positive and not negative. So the thing is that, do I observe? Oh yeah, no, I think that, okay, well, what's that solution out of that?
Right.
I'm definitely into the solution process. That's my thing. Yeah.
Yeah. And raising consciousness about your own words and all. It's like, one encourages one to act in a moment, but not to just, do something without thinking about it, right? Without, getting to one's center. And, it's like, you don't want to just say something that's so rash or, stupid that
Well,
you're just blowing up a situation. It's
right.
like,
Well, that's
uh,
the things of you were saying, like goes in your head. Oh gosh, I wish I was more witty and I could have come back at that. Well, the caustic behavior actually leads to a lot of sickness. So that's the thing.
well, it's not always about just being witty. It's not always just about, being funny or something like that. That's sometimes, part of it. But it's like standing up for yourself in the
Yeah.
moment, or where you know something to be true for yourself, but you're not saying it in the moment because it's you're you don't want to like escalate, a certain thing. You're looking to avoid, a confrontation. Um, that's more of what that energy is. But like being able to see yourself in action, to that consciousness part of us that can step, two steps back from ourself as the as the biological machine, and it's saying, oh, it's like your go-to place, your default setting is to, like, go to that area. But can we change this up? Can we uh, act out of a place of love, or of, looking to find a solution, rather than, deepening a quagmire, or just being in a base level? How can we rise up into, a new level of acting and speaking and seeing our situation?
Yes. And that's just it. Maybe seeing the situation clearly. Well, people have their set minds on, their frustrations and angst. And so a lot of times those are health issues as well.
Hmm.
When they have those, because you're having aches and pains, and you're feeling kind of crummy, and so you say crummy things as well, and then complain about your health instead of doing something about it. See, this is a part of it where he's speaking clearly, to whereas you want to find the solution of something, so you want to get out of that crummy feeling and get into the your somewhere great. So where is that going to lead you? Well, is it eating more broccoli, or is it instead of potato chips, something like that? I mean, it could be a simple fix. It's simple fixes. Water, even drinking hot water, is supposed to be like a fix. So, start fixing your whatever your ailments are, whatever your pathology is. The pathology comes in to make a switch. Not to say that you're going to change your whole personality. If you were born a little bit doubtful, you were probably going to be somebody who observes on that level. I call that, hyper observance. So hyper observance isn't a bad thing. It's just a bad thing when you you shell it out onto others, to whereas, not everybody's going to do what you want them to do. That's not how it
What?
works. Yeah, it's
That
not.
doesn't happen? Oh,
No.
damn.
Yeah, but the hyper observance, say, you're observing somebody doing something wrong, or, a lot of people, they live in a bubble. They don't really understand that they're doing something wrong, or that they're saying wrong things to create the life that they want. They're not creating the life that they'd like. They're being too, depressed, or, too feeling too crummy. feeling, non-hopeful, distrustful. They get into this mode of grief and sorrow and being anxious all the time. Anxious is living in the future. Anxious is all about you're living too fast. You need to live in the present right now, what you can do for you now. It's not about feeling a lack. It's about being in the prosperity of the moment. The earth is prosperous. There is a solution for everything. So where is the solution? Start to look for it. Relax. We have the internet now. You can start to look for it. There's books. You can start to look for it. There's people who will tell you how to get there if you're willing to listen. So the thing is that, okay, you can listen to your inner voice, your higher self. Yeah. Go into meditation, go into strengthening your mind. We have a lot of mind programming for that. You strengthen your minds. And I know people who, as therapists, they don't listen to their own stuff. Thing is, you need to listen to it. Start listening to other people and if it's just the mind programming.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I use mind programming several times a day. When I wake up at night, I throw on mind programming. Throw on Jason, throw on Steve G. Jones, sometimes mine. I listen to mind programming because I want the ultimate health. I want to be in my rejuvenation. This is what I want. I want to be clear. I do. I want to be clear. So how about you, Jace?
I'm going to be teaching a workshop. That's a Qigong workshop, and it's with my friend and the friend of the show, Tracy Brown.
Hey, Tracy Brown.
We're going to do a co-training there with Qigong, and Qigong is like when you gather energy that's around you, and then you can create like these energy seeds. You can implant suggestions for health, and then you can either release it out into the world, you can bring it back into yourself, and there's ways of doing really wonderful chakra alignments within yourself with the chi. And it's a powerful way to come into a place of self-love, where you are loving this vessel, this body that we have,
no matter what.
And it's like this is
Mm-hmm.
who we are at this time in life, and to appreciate that, and to be able to use the tools to work on some self-healing, just a self-appreciation, self-empowering, looking to create opportunities. I like to do that every evening, where I'll create these energy seeds, and I'll send them out, release them, and plant them for whatever opportunity is going to come my way. And it works. I've got so many things that are coming up there of opportunities, and here in the U.S. and in Japan, and all these places that it keeps me busy. But it's part of what we're talking about, as far as when our voice is clear, when we set that stage within us, where our calling is recognized, where we're listening to our calling, and we're expressing ourselves in ways that are aligned with that calling. When I call myself a tarot wizard in the world, it's like people hear that. The universe hears that and says, "Oh, you want some opportunities to be able to do that?" And it's like, yes. If you say to the world, I'm in pain and I'm, hating life, it's like, guess what life, sends you more of. And so, it's about being able to express things in a way that, you start to see yourself in a different light. and speak of yourself in a different light, so that you can be accepting of love, of healing, of opportunity, of these life-giving experiences that can make a 180 turnaround for you.
Right. And just keep at it. Just gotta keep at it.
It's a, when you see yourself as a work in progress, it's like, it's never where you're like, okay, I'm 100% now. And that's, that's how it's always going to be. Life is like, it's filled with a lot of change, and, you are always looking to improve upon the next version of yourself that's down the road.
Right. Well, I always love to point this out that, we're all afraid of change, but the earth is moving at 65,000 miles an hour through space. When gravity's the only thing that keeps us on this planet. And it's just like, okay, we're afraid of change, but we're changing every second. So just be in the resonance of your life now, because, it's a great thing. Yeah, I know that we all fight things, but do we have to fight it? It's a work in progress. Just keep working.
Yeah. And I'm someone,
love your everything that you like to do.
I'm someone who has, worked on cultivating my voice, for the last, 10 years or so. And it can be a process of trust, where you trust your core, of who it is that you are, deep down. And when you are true to that, then, your life really it opens up to just having great meaning, just every day. And then all the people that you are in contact with, that you will, come into contact with. It's like, that's my life. It's like, as a tarot wizard, it's like, I talk to a lot of people in the world. Yeah. And it's,
I love it too.
There's a deep resonation with that, that calling, that purpose. So when you get into that place of resonating, with your purpose, you're ahead of the game.
Yes. Yeah. Well, and it's not about just, magically making it happen. It's a step-by-step process. So, it's like going forward now with it. So anyway, Jason, tell us where we can find you.
I am on Facebook, Jason D. McKean, and Jason D. McKean is my website also, JASONDMCKEAN.com.
Right. I'm on Facebook too with 2 accounts, because my first account was completely filled up in 2009. So I opened another one so that people who wanted to be friends could easily be my friend. So I have 2 Facebooks, but then I have Instagram, Tara_insight. And Jason, you are on Instagram.
Yes, as Jason Tarot Wizard.
Mm-hmm. And I'm Tara Sutphin, I think, on Twitter. And are you on Twitter?
I do not like Twitter.
Okay.
So I
have a great Twitter account. And then how about your website is?
JasonDMcKean.com.
Right. And mine is TaraInsight.com. And so you have these classes coming up, so they can find these where?
Through Facebook.
Okay, through Facebook.
Through Facebook. I like posting the classes through Facebook. And okay. I have one that is a skeleton key reading class that's coming up with our mutual friend, Scott Grossberg.
Love him. Love. Oh my gosh. absolutely fabulous.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like,
Talking about a magical person. He is magic.
completely magical. And so we're doing a skeleton key reading class on the 10th of April. Me and Tracy Brown are doing a Qigong workshop activation
Is this all on
in April.
Zoom? No? Or are you,
Yeah. No, these are all on Zoom.
okay.
So anyone in the world can come in. And in Japan in May, I'm going to be doing a gallery reading where we're with a large group of people. I'm going to be just selecting people and then pulling a card for them, and we're that workshop is called Deepening Your Purpose. Deepening your connection to purpose. It's something like that. Yeah, it's deepening your purpose. Yeah.
How beautiful.
Yeah. And that's through a translator and all. It's like my Japanese is not up to par individually.
No, but you probably know a lot of it, but yeah, you get the gist.
私は日本語が少し話します。
Oh, see,
少し
more than I know, but
少し just a little bit. Skosh.
Right. But that's beautiful. Well, I have a hypnotist training. Let's see, April 19th is when it starts. So you guys can go on my I think I've advertised it pretty much everywhere. So LinkedIn, everywhere. So, but also on my TaraInsight.com.
And what does someone get?
We're going to someday do the Shaman Apex again. And we're going to do that all in person. Yeah. So we'll do that probably, I don't know, I'll talk to my Sedona resources there. And
with the hypnotist training, it's like people become certified, right?
Certified. You become certified as a hypnotist.
And
it's your first, I can do spiritual counseling as well and certify you for that. So, you can talk to me about it all. Yeah. Whoever would like that.
And that's through the IHF?
Yeah. I certify you. So go ahead and, talk to me about it. You can write to me, or you can, come through the website and look at it.
Great.
I've certified a lot of people, a lot of fun. We always have a blast. All my seminars love to have fun. Yeah. I'd like to do some developing psychic ability again, but in person in Sedona. So we'll talk about that pretty soon, because everybody's ready to travel again now. Come on. We're gonna get going here again. Time to go forward. Have some fun.
Excellent. Yeah. Thank you for, this topic too today, because it's such an important one, where if people are, wanting to, at least have fun where they let themselves, like, where they can talk about it, communicate that, and just kind of start, breaking out of that fear place, or, where they can, start to at least think about, what's next there in a kind of a fun manner, rather than just being, reticent about their actions, their movements.
Yes. Yeah. We're all supposed to go out of the fear zone to live again. Time.
Yeah. And, it's like, however that, opens up, however, our own calling asks us to, expand and all. It's like, it's like we've had a lot of time to prepare for, like the next part of who it is that we're becoming. And, it's like those of us who have been listening to that calling are ready to activate it.
Yep. Life force activation. I have a whole series on that. It's the early 2000s.
Awesome. Thank you, Tara.
Thank you for being on the show.
Much love to you.
Yep.
Love to everyone.
Thank you for listening to Transformations with Tara. Tara hopes this program brings guidance and insight towards a better tomorrow. If you have any questions or inquiries, or would just like to know more about Tara Sutphin's workshops and seminars or private sessions, please visit her website now at tarainsight.com. Until next time, many blessings.